Welcome learners. Today we have a session on integrated marketing communications and introduction. So far I have been talking to you about advertising, about public relations, corporate communications, event management, and now I am going to tell you how all of it holistically combines to form integrated marketing communications. So in this session, we're going to cover what is integrated marketing communications, how social media revolution affects IMC, what is hyper competition, why social media works better, and how do we analyze, create, integrate, and be relevant to our customers or audiences, and IMC in the new media environment. So let us begin. And to touch upon the basics, let's discuss a few concepts like marketing. What do we mean by marketing? Marketing is a customer-focused activity which involves study and management of exchange relationships. When I say exchange relationships, there are multiple layers of exchanges that are taking place between the organization and its customers or the audiences. So this customer-focused activity involves the management of this exchange in terms of you as an organization attracting the attention of your audience, the audiences being loyal towards your organization, the kind of image your company enjoys in the society and the community, the way people respond when they come across your products or services. All of these are exchange relationships, and these are managed and these are studied under marketing. The next thing is communication. As I've often told you, communication is the sharing of experiences between two or more participants. The closer the two participants and the closer the relationship, the better is the understanding and more prevalent is this sharing of experiences. The more transparent you are with your partner, the better your relationship gets. In this case, it is the organization and the audiences. So the sharing of experiences helps you build trust with your audiences. When we talk about marketing mix is the strategy which is formulated by an organization on the basis of the 4 P's that have commonly been studied traditionally in marketing, which are the product, price, place, and promotion. So let me explain this further. When I say marketing mix, there are various strategies that you use. The same strategy cannot be adopted for different segments of audiences. So in order to reach a certain segment in the best possible manner, it is important that you formulate a strategy according to their wants, needs, their psychographics, their demographics, what they like, their distastes, etc. So on the basis of this, there are 4 P's in marketing. These are product, price, place, and promotion. When I say product, it is your offering. When I say you means the organization. So it is your offering to the customer, that is the product. And when I say price is what the customer or the audience has to partake with in order to enjoy that product or service which you are offering. Place is the placement of the product. Like say for example, a small car. The placement of a small car can be that it is meant for the middle class families. So this is the place. And promotion involves a lot of multifarious activities through which you're able to promote your goods and services, your ideas, and you're able to sell what you stand for. The basic values that any organization stands for is the promotion part of it. So you formulate its product or service for its customers. You customize it. So this marketing mix involves the customization of strategies. When I say customization of strategies, let me just exemplify very simply. Suppose you're going to talk to a certain segment of audience which is less educated, has a rural background, and is not very open with usage of social media. For this segment of audience, the way you will design your communication in order to ensure that they take that necessary behavioral changes in themselves, they bring about those changes, will be much different from the strategy that you will formulate and implement on, say, college goers who are well adopted to the latest trends, fashion, knowledge, information regarding various things, and of course they are updated with technology as well. So this is the reason why we have to customize the strategy which we formulate for different segments of audiences, and this is what we understand by marketing mix. Now here I was talking more in terms of products. When we talk about services, there are three more factors that get added. These are people, process, and physical evidence. Let me take up physical evidence first. When we talk about services, we understand that it is largely an intangible thing. It is not a product. So say for example, you have a Samsung phone on you. The phone is a product which you hold in hand. So if you spend 20,000 rupees on buying a new phone, you get a phone in return. But what about an experience? You go to an eating joint or you go to a hotel, you like the ambience, you spend on the food and you come back, it was just an experience. So there is nothing tangible about it. So for services, the challenge is a little more a step ahead of this, of a product. So physical evidence becomes important. What is it? What is the kind of experience and how do you shape it such that the intangibility of it is not fixed in a manner that people don't realize the value of where they've spent their money. Also, when I talk about people, it is about the people who are representing your organization, their behaviors, the way they come across the audiences, the way they provide the service, all these things. And when I say process, like there are many pizza companies operating in the city which say that it is within 45 minutes or within 30 minutes, otherwise it is for free. Alternately, on a number of counters you read that if you don't get your bill, the food is on us, so you don't have to pay. So that is the process. So the entire process has to be smooth enough for the audiences such that right from the point of time when they ordered the service to the delivery and the after sales service, everything is involved in this. So all of it together forms the process. So these three important factors get added whenever we're talking of services. Now let us talk of communications mix. When I say communications mix, it is a tactical combination of communication tools used by the organization, keeping in view the strategy devised to achieve the desired objectives. Complicated? Let me simplify. A tactical combination, because I just said that all sorts of strategies will not suit all kinds of target audiences, all kinds of marketing environments, all kinds of objectives that you're trying to meet. So it has to be a tactical, well thought of, well analyzed combination of communication tools. Communication tools like advertising, like public relations, like direct mailers, like creating an event, etc. And these are the tools which are tactically used by an organization, keeping in view the strategy that you've devised. When I say the strategy devised, say for example, you organize an event to make the audiences more familiar with what you are, who you are, what you stand for, what are the, how does your product or service stands apart from the rest that are available in the market. So you basically, this is an introductory session. Like when you meet a stranger, you try to introduce yourself in a very formal manner. So this is an event which you create only to make people aware that you are a player in the market, that you can come up to their expectations, and that the audiences should go ahead and try your products or services. So this is a strategy that you've devised. After you've introduced yourself, your product lands in the market, and you ensure that the retailers push the product for you. They compare it to the other existing competition which is there in the market, and then you realize whether the audiences are accepting your communication or not. So this is the strategy that you've devised to achieve the desired objectives. The objectives could be making a mark in the society, could be image management, could be a rise in sales volume or a rise in business volume. The objectives could be multifarious, they could be many. So depending on that, when you're devising a strategy and then making use of certain communication tools very tactfully, that is what we call communications mix. So right now I have explained a few basic concepts on what is marketing mix, what happens in case of products and services, and what is communication mix. Now let us look at what is integrated marketing communication. Now integrated marketing communication is basically an approach which is to achieve the objectives of the marketing campaign. All those communication objectives and all those marketing objectives, when we club together, we call them as marketing communications. So ideally, integrated marketing communication is an approach, is a way of achieving the objectives of the marketing campaign through a well-coordinated use of different promotional methods that are intended to reinforce each other. They have to be well coordinated because all the communication tools and all sorts of marketing strategies will not gel well together. So you need to figure out which ones go best with which. So they have to be well coordinated and they must be making use of different promotional methods. Like when you're only looking at making people aware of who you are, what your concern is, and what you stand for, what your organizational values are, that the strategy that you will use, which you will formulate to achieve an objective like this will be much different from other promotional methods, which say, for example, you've come up, you're already a well-established player in the market, and then you've come up with a new vertical of product which you want to push in the market. The strategy that you will use in this case will be much different from the earlier one. So when we make use of marketing campaigns in order to achieve the objectives in a well coordinated manner, that is known as integrated marketing communications. Now all the promotional methods that are being used need to reinforce each other. So we have one objective, rise in sales. The objective has to be met with all the communication tools that you're making use of, be it advertising, be it organizing an event or public relations or corporate communication, whatever you're using, at the end of it, there has to be some cohesiveness so that all of them lead to meeting the same objective of rise in sales. So they are intended to reinforce each other. The basic IMC tools used to achieve these objectives are called promotional mix. So IMC tools is marketing and communication tools mixed together. And this kind of a mix is called a promotional mix. Why? Because initially all communication begins as promotion. And once the promotion part is done, then you go on to say image management or to other issue management, something else. That's how. So for example, advertising, public relations, sponsorship, events, direct mailers, sales promotion, etc. Now let us look at social media revolution. So far I have discussed with you the basic concepts of marketing and communication and a mix of these two, and I have led you on to understand what integrated marketing communication means. Integrated marketing communication in today's times cannot be looked as something which is very separate from technology. So social media revolution has not just touched marketing communications in a very important manner, it has also raised the the expectations of the customers as well as the objectives that the organization tries to meet, right? So like there were earlier times of paid, owned and earned media. And now we have automated media, now we have various other things. Now let me explain what was paid, owned and earned media. Paid media was like advertising, like getting paid news, like creating an ad somewhere, because everywhere, wherever you would make use of self-promotion, you would have to pay for it, to the traditional media, also to the new media sometimes. So this was the paid media. Owned media was, say for example, a website of your own, or your own Facebook page, that is owned media. And earned media is when somebody writes a referral about you, or when somebody mentions you as an organization or your product or your service on one's Facebook page or any other such space which is available for public to look into. So that is earned media. That is something that you made a goodwill with this person, and this person wrote favorably about your product or service. This is earned media. So far, while social media did not become so much of a revolution, we were only looking at the paid media and owned media and earned media. Today, things have changed. Today, we have automated marketing. Automation, you all understand, things that are mechanized, that are automatic, are called automated. So what is automated marketing? Automated marketing is a form of highly relevant marketing which is much more personalized in nature and makes and is useful in information sharing. So automatically, while you have purchased a certain product, the marketers, the players in the market have become aware that there is need for such kind of a product. Or say for example, you just you were looking for something on Wikipedia or on Google. It has been tracked. Now this automated marketing is supposedly, making use of this data, figuring out who is looking for what and pushing that product or service towards the customer or the audience. Also, there is social CRM. When I say social CRM, it is customer relationship management, what we call CRM. So social CRM is reaching your customers and managing the relationships with your customers by means of social media. Why? Because this is high impact and this is very cost efficient. We all understand that social media and its use for, be it for academic purposes or for personal reasons or for marketing and other related activities, it is highly cost efficient, much more cost efficient than the traditional medium that we were making use of, because it was only defined in terms of paid, owned and earned. Now things are changing. So it is much more cost efficient and it has a higher impact. It has a higher impact because it is personalized. So when the customer relationship is more personalized, people feel that they are attended to in a better manner. So ideally, this is social CRM. Like say for example, you must have all seen the ad of, I will not name it, but of a telecommunications company which says that our target is to reach a point of time where there are no complaints at all from our telecom company. So this is the ad that is doing the rounds these days. So this is the effect of social CRM. It could be in the form of customer care, it could be in the form of bots, the robotics that is being made use of in marketing, and through various other means. But basically the idea is to reach the audiences more successfully as well as more cost efficiently. Another aspect is big data. We've been talking about big data for quite some time now, and this may not be a very new concept to you. But big data has totally revolutionized the marketing and the way it used to happen. So for remarketing and retargeting, we make use of big data. So if an important brand X has been on sale, and say for example it was a means of providing to the customers a value in terms of its experiences. So say for example it is a hotel chain. You have visited this hotel and you have probably stayed there for 2 or 3 days. The big data captures what is the kind of car that you drove in, what is the kind of stuff you spent on, what is it that you liked more about the hotel, how did you share your experiences of your stay in that hotel as compared to others, and the detailed feedback that you left behind. On the basis of that, they will ensure that they remarket themselves to you, either themselves or then another another segment of their product, in this case a chain of hotels. So say for example you went to Jaisalmer, they will offer you something else in Kashmir. So the remarketing and retargeting is something which happens in a very big manner and in a very focused manner through big data. Also we have analytics which is being made use of in a big manner, just like automated marketing. These days better decisions of marketing are being made because of analytics. Why? Because people have a chart out there, all the marketers have a chart out there through which they can figure out what your tastes are, what your purchasing power is, and what is the kind of things, what are the kind of things that interest you in terms of your hobbies or your interests or your anything, the need, the real need and the felt need. So all of it together helps them make better decisions about you as a customer so that they can target you in a more focused manner. So this also brings up a competitive advantage, because any organization which is studying you, the customer, so deeply obviously has a better chance in the market to be able to market their goods and services to you as compared to the rest. So analytics becomes very important here. And all of these things, when I'm talking of social media revolution, all of these things, right from automated marketing to social CRM to big data to analytics, they're all highly interconnected. And that is why social media has brought about a whole lot of revolution in the phase of not just marketing, everywhere else. Now let us look at hyper competition. When I talk about hyper competition, I would like you to reflect at hyper competition in the light of what we've just discussed. The social media, the kind of revolution it has been successful in creating, and why marketing is more on the edge these days. So when we talk hyper competition, we talk of an accelerated change. Just look at the combination of words. We're talking hyper and we're talking competition. So basically we're making competition much more better paced, fast paced. So it is an accelerated change which has accelerated brand creation. So earlier brand building was a turbulent activity, so to say, because when you would create a brand, it will begin from its inception to how you would lay its foundation to how the number of years the company would take in growing and showing how well it is based, and its products and its values, its vision, its mission, all those aspects. So it used to take a big lot of time to make your presence felt in the market. But what about hyper competition? Hyper competition has totally accelerated that change, and it has accelerated the creation of the brand, which was till now a huge cumbersome activity which would take a lot of time, is today not so cumbersome. And the category less competition has come up. Because the competition is getting hyper, you cannot break things into category any longer. So while one organization has been in certain verticals only, say for example hair oil or face creams or nail paints and lipsticks and all such kind of things, tomorrow you would find them also getting into some other verticals like shampoos, like detergents, like something else. So ideally it is a more category less competition today. And the image that is already existing because of existence of certain products in the market will also impact the created new verticals of products. The competition is targeting your visitors, your fans, your employees, everybody. Why? Because if a company, an Ayurvedic company X and a herbal company Y, the audiences are more or less the same. These are the audiences who probably feel that the use of chemicals isn't good, so Ayurvedic products should be chosen. But then these are also the people who would like to go for herbal products as well. So a herbal product can highlight that Ayurvedic products also have certain side effects, which is not the case in herbs. So ideally the competition targets your visitors. They target the segment of the population, the segment of your customers who are brand loyal. And they also target your fans and employees. And now because of hyper competition, we have now moved from unique selling proposition, what we used to call USP, to SCA, sustainable competitive advantage. A competitive advantage that stays on, which is sustainable, which lasts for a longer period of time, and at the same time gives you this image of being, eco-friendly, environment-loving, and creates this kind of image which makes you portray as a socially responsible organization. So ideally, every organization which is in the market, warring the competition, is trying to convert its USP to SCA. They want to be seen as sustainable, and they want the advantage that they've made against their competition to stay on for a longer time. Then it is also a matter of creative destruction. Now this term creative destruction, what it means is when you try to one-up yourself. So say for example, till yesterday's you were only limiting yourself to mainstream media as far as promotion goes. Today you're destroying all the ad spend that gets into mainstream media, or considerably lessening it maybe to 50% or less, and then devoting the rest into social media. So this is what? This is kind of, you one-up yourself. This is the process of destroying yourself creatively while engaging further for a more profitable benefit with your audience. So this is the concept of hyper competition. So another relevant question that arises is, so why does social media work? It works because it allows marketers to listen. People who are studying you in depth, people who are looking at your tastes, people who are looking at your behaviors, people who are looking at your purchasing power, they are allowing marketers to listen and notice and take note of what the audiences are like. That is why social media works. Also because it is much more participatory. So there is a trialogue that gets created. Trialogue because in the earliest of times it used to be only monologue, people giving out information to the audiences, to the customers, and that's it. Then they started talking about participatory communication, two-way interaction and feedback and all. But with social media, it is more of a trialogue. Why? Because this communication goes on between the customers, between the opinion makers, and between the brand. So there is the emergence of a new kind of opinion makers who are the influencers. So while the audiences are attached to the influencers in a way that they are their fans or they are opinion followers of these people, the brand is attached to the opinion makers because they can say something positive about their brands, about their product. You would see such videos on YouTube, you would see such videos on such blogs around, and you would also see certain Facebook pages which would promote the products and services of certain organizations. So this has made the entire participation process more trilogic. So we have a trilogue between the customers, between the opinion makers and the brand. Also, one more reason why social media works when it comes to marketing is engagement. It can create, it can collaborate, it can share. Three most important things in today's times. See, most of us, whenever we're trying to buy something, we try and go for a review of that product or a service. So we try to collaborate, we share. But if we come across a product or service which has been dissatisfactory for us, or which has not been a pleasant experience, we try to go back and write a review. And most people these days make use of these reviews in order to make their purchase decisions. So engagement has become very important these days, and social media is drawing a relevant picture of this. Why? Because it is able to create, it is able to collaborate, and it is able to share. So this is what makes social media work. Now let us look at integrated marketing communication. How does it analyze, how does it create, integrate, and be relevant to the needs of its consumers? The first thing is, better the analysis, better the decisions. We were just talking about automated marketing, and we were talking about big data and data analytics. All of it finally comes down to analysis of people and people's behavior. It is important to understand that, because then you are able to customize the communication about your product and your company to the consumers, as well as you're able to customize the product according to the needs of the consumers. So better the analysis, better the marketing decision. Know your customers, know your competitors, know your own competence and the resources and the market trends. It is important to study all these in unison, because even if you leave across one aspect out of these five, probably the marketing communication that you're so engrossed in making and spending so much on is going to fall flat. So ideally, one has to know the target audiences that one is speaking with, the competitors. What is their strategy? How are they targeting your product? How are they looking in the marketing environment? What do they look like? The competence. What is your competency? How does it help you in becoming a strength when we do a SWOT analysis. What are your resources? Where can you generate better resources from, and how can you make use of them in an optimum manner? And then what are the market trends? What is it that the market is liking these days? Is the market going upswing or downswing, bullish or not? So how do those things help you? Because they are helping you make sane decisions when it comes to integrated marketing communications. Then of course, tracking digital body language is also very important. When I say digital body language, so far you would have studied or read about body language, the first impressions, how people communicate, and the fact that the body language never lies to you. These days, marketers are tracking the digital body language. Digital body language is the click behavior. How soon, say for example, you're onto a website or you're reading something online, and there are certain ads that keep appearing every now and then. So onto that ad panel, how many times do you get distracted, and many times do you click on it? And once you click, how deep into the website do you visit? Do you finally end up making a purchase decision, or at least keeping the product in the cart for future and save it for the future? What is it that you do? So they're tracking the digital body language of customers. It helps them communicate better, because they're able to make more focused decisions based on that. And what all are the ways, what all are the vehicles through which this gets communicated? It is the apps, it is the advertisements, like I just gave you an example of an advertisement. Similarly, there are apps. Also, there are presentations, there are also sales pitches. So you know what kind of a buyer this person is. Accordingly, you will make a sales pitch, and there will be a greater chance that the sales pitch will be successful. The person will end up buying, because this is what he or she has been looking for. And then there are messages and websites. So all of these together get studied from various aspects, various angles, and this is what is called the click behavior or the digital body language. Now, a few more aspects when we talk about being relevant in terms of integrated marketing communications and integrating all sorts of communication tools. There are a few that I would discuss here, like say for example, publicity and public relations. While I was discussing and having a session with you on public relations, I was talking about PR as being something that is doing good and getting credit for it. So integrated public relations contributes to the marketing communication strategy. When I say integrated public relations, there are certain tools which are exclusive to public relations. But when you mix it up with publicity, when you mix it up with events or some such thing, it contributes to the marketing and communication strategy of your organization. Social media is obviously a natural fit for public relations, and it is very important for managing crisis. So public relations, you see how multifariously it can be used in various kinds of situations. It is also managing your crisis, it is also a good marketing communication strategy, it is also a good image building strategy. Why? Because it is doing good and getting credit for that good. So you have probably built a few schools in the rural areas, and then you get credit for it. This is PR. So all of it together can be used in a multifarious way in order to formulate your integrated marketing communication strategy. And that is what makes your marketing communication strategy stronger. So other than managing crisis, it also helps you in corporate social responsibility, because various activities that public relations does can easily fall into the section of CSR. Also, positive editorials are a product of PR. When I say positive editorials, it is, say for example, talking about environmental concerns. And while you're talking about environmental concerns, you can also highlight an organization or an NGO which has been working towards reducing carbon prints, or working more towards tree plantation, or creating awareness among school children in rural as well as urban areas. So ideally, you are getting a positive editorial, which is again a product of public relations. So while there is something newsy about the event, there is also some positive image building. What is the advantage of such kind of positive editorials in media? There is no extra cost involved. The message has higher credibility. Why? Because some mainstream media, or for that matter even social media, is saying that this organization has worked in certain sectors and has produced this good, social good. So it has higher credibility rather than rooftop shouting that this product is the best. And then of course there is no control over the message. So if I find it touching, if it is a matter which is close to my heart, I would also like to circulate it amongst my audiences. So this is how there are multifarious advantages of the positive editorials when we look at it as a product of public relations. Now also let us look at sponsorship. I'm just touching upon a few things which together can integrate into integrated marketing communications. Sponsorship basically is partnering an event when you're achieving specifically defined communication objectives. So two people come together with their communication objectives which they want to achieve, and they partner in the project in terms of financial and resource sharing. So while this can help in increasing the awareness, image enhancement and customer engagement, and it can also lead to better and greater content generation. All of these values, all of these things are important in today's marketing environment. But at the same time, there can be a slight disadvantage, which could be more in terms of ambush marketing. When I say ambush marketing, it is basically how your competition targets you. So, an official event sponsor can get attacked. Why? Because the competition decides to run promotions and events and advertisements close to the place where the sponsor's activities are being carried out. So at the same point of time, say for example, a toothpaste X and a toothpaste Y are creating similar kind of events, the audiences get divided, the footfalls get divided, the opinions get divided. So that can be a disadvantage. But other than that, it is a healthy, it is a nice collaborative way of achieving your communication and marketing objectives together. Now let us look at the last bit of this session, which talks about IMC in the new marketing environment. The new marketing environment has changed considerably because of the advent of technology, because of greater innovations in marketing, because people have become different from what they were. Lesser brand loyalty, more information, more research are the characteristics of today's audiences. So ideally, how does IMC operate in the new marketing environment? Number one, develop credibility before raising visibility. It is very easy to be visible. But if this visibility is also backed by credibility, it earns you better, and it earns you doubly. Are your visitors coming back? Are you ensuring reinforcement, reselling, retargeting? Are you ensuring brand loyalty? Are they coming back? I bought this brand of toothpaste or I bought this brand of footwear. Am I going to repeat my purchase behavior? Important to understand. Does your website help visitors better than the competition? See, there are so many, everybody has a website today. But what is a website meant for? What is the objective of having a website? The primary objective is giving the primary information. So does your website, which is the first and foremost view of the customer in your company, looking at you, the kind of, the corporate personality or corporate identity you have, the kind of impression the audiences would make about you. Do you have the wherewithal with you in order to ensure that, your website should be helpful in visitors being helped from one corner to the other? Are they being guided successfully from one step to the other? So this is what visitors would ideally look for. And then listen and respond to the customers. What is your turnaround time? How soon do you get back to a complaint regarding a service or product, or regarding some concern that somebody might have with your company or with your product? So you have to listen to your customers, you have to respond to them. Reward customers who are socially positive with your brand. When I say socially positive, it is a kind of brand loyalty which gets not only enforced, but you're also, as a customer of a certain company, you're also convincing others to change their purchase decision in favor of this organization. So are you able to reward those customers who are socially positive with your brand, who say that this brand is environment friendly, who say that they are corporately and socially more responsible towards the society. This is what we're looking for as marketers in the new marketing environment. So with that, I hope you've been able to understand the basic concepts of integrated marketing communication. To end it, I would only say, think holistic, think IMC, integrated marketing communication. Join us for our next session within just 5 minutes. See you again.